Personally, I think keeping your emergency fund in the bank is a stupid idea. So let's not do that anymore. Not when there's a smarter, more efficient way to keep your cash liquid and growing at the exact same time. Today, I'm going to explain exactly what that is. So let's get into it. Let's set the stage here. Every financial blog, YouTube video, and personal finance book says the same exact thing. Save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a savings account. The idea is simple. Life happens, job loss, unexpected bills, medical emergencies, car repairs, the list goes on. And they're right. You need quick access to cash when life punches you directly in the mouth. But here's the issue. They stop that conversation right there. Instead of telling you about a good place to keep that cash so it's always working for you, they suggest to just let it sit there. Now, let's say that you've been disciplined. You've built up a $20,000 emergency fund. You probably feel pretty secure, right? I mean, let's be honest, that's pretty impressive. But let me ask you, what's that money doing for you? The answer, for most people, is nothing. It's sitting in a basic savings account, earning most likely less than 1%, while inflation is quietly eating away at its value. Now you might be sitting over here saying, Sean, that's ridiculous. My savings account is getting 3 or 4%. And if that's the case, I'd ask you, how long has that been happening? And how long do you expect it to continue to happen for? Plus, tell me, in the past 6 months to a year, have you been alerted that your savings rate on your account is being lowered? Because I know you have. So let's get serious here. Most savings accounts are offering a 0.5 to 1% at best long term. Now let's compare that to inflation, which has averaged about 3 to 4% annually over the past 30 years and has been a bit higher in more recent years. So if you have $20,000 earning you 1% interest, that's $200 in growth per year. But if inflation is running at 4%, that $20,000 lost $800 per year in purchasing power. That's a net loss of $600, even though you technically made money. By the way, I'm not even bringing up the fact that you're going to have to pay capital gains tax on that $200 when you receive your 1099 INT in the mail because your savings account made more than $10 in profit. So, did you really make $200? No. But let's say you did for the hell of it, because who cares about taxes, right? So take that $600 that you're losing every year to inflation and multiply that over 5 or 10 years. The math starts to sting a little bit. And that's just the loss to inflation. Now let's talk about opportunity cost. Now what if that same $20,000 could have been earning you 4 to 5% guaranteed in a properly structured whole life policy? Now I know. You probably hate insurance because you know little to nothing about the kind that can actually benefit you the most. But do me a favor, just stick with me here for a second, okay? If you leave your $20,000 sitting in your savings account earning you 1%, you're not just losing to inflation, you're missing out on what your money could have done for you elsewhere. Not taking into consideration the inflation I just mentioned or the taxes that you'd have to pay on the gains that you're making in your savings account after 10 years, your $20,000 would have turned into about $22,092.44, while that same amount sitting in something like your whole life insurance policy would look a lot more like $32,577.89. The opportunity cost in this scenario is almost $10,500. It's important to understand what your money could be doing for you, even if it was just sitting around. Now, I'm assuming everyone believes that by putting their money in the bank, it's safe, right? But do you know what the bank does with your deposit? They lend it out, of course, at 6%, 8%, even 12%, depending on the loan. You see, the bank is using your money to make themselves wealthy. They pay you that 0.5%, then they turn around and make 10 times that on the spread. That's the bank's business model. And boy, does it work like a charm. Fantastic business model. So let me ask you a hard question. Why are you letting the bank be the only one benefiting from your money? What if you could take back that control and play the same game, but with you as the bank? That's exactly what we do inside the private banking strategy. You see, when I first learned about infinite banking, it was like someone flipped a switch in my brain. I realized the wealthy don't save money the same way that the average person does. They store cash in tools that offer liquidity, predictable growth, tax advantages, creditor protection, and without a doubt, control. And whether you want to believe it or not, one of the most powerful tools they use is a properly structured whole life insurance policy from a mutual company that, guess what, pays dividends. I'm not talking about the life insurance that your parents had, which took 10 plus years to build any sort of cash value. I'm talking about a modern tool engineered for banking, not just death benefit. You see, we design these policies to maximize cash value early on so you can access the money within the first 30 days. Your dollars grow uninterrupted, even when you borrow against them. It becomes your emergency fund, your opportunity fund, and your freedom fund, all in one little package. Now, let's talk mechanics for a second, because this part tends to blow people's mind. When you take a policy loan, you're not withdrawing money like you would from a savings account. You're actually borrowing against your cash value, using it as collateral. So let's say that you have $30,000 in cash value and you borrow $10,000. That full $30,000 keeps growing like it never left the policy. You've essentially created leverage without selling or spending your asset. What about the repayment, Sean? Totally on your terms. No monthly bill unless you want one. You decide when and how much to pay back. Plus, there's no credit check and no approval process. And because it's a private loan from your own banking system, it doesn't report to credit agencies either. The best part, you're not locking your money up like you would in some other retirement style accounts. You have liquidity, growth, and control. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a triple threat. Now, this all sounds great, but let's play devil's advocate for a second. What if I don't need the money for a few years? Cool. Even better. Your emergency fund will just continue to quietly compound in the background, always ready for you to use. But what if I need it urgently? Great. Borrow it out just like you would pulling from a savings account, but with the added benefit that your original money never stopped growing. All right, but what if you pass away and there's an outstanding loan? No problem. The loan amount is simply deducted from the death benefit and the rest is paid out to your beneficiary tax-free. You see, guys, this isn't risky. It's strategic. You're just now learning about a tool wealthy families have been using in this country for centuries. This is what banking on yourself looks like. Not asking for permission, not draining savings, but using a tool that multiplies what your money can do for you. Let me give you a real client example here. We had a client, let's call him Jason. Jason had about $25,000 sitting in a savings account just in case. Cool, smart move. After we walked him through the numbers, he funded a properly structured policy with that $25,000. 6 months later, he needed $4,000 to replace his AC unit at home. Instead of wiping out part of his savings by withdrawing money from the policy, he took a loan from his policy instead. He got the AC fixed in 72 hours. He kept his full $25,000 compounding. He paid the loan back over 9 months to himself. Of course, that was his terms. And he still has his emergency fund intact today, and it's even larger than before. That's the power of putting your money in motion without losing control. So here's the big takeaway. Cash is king, yes, but only if it's earning and available. Keeping your emergency fund in a savings account might feel safe, but it's costing you more than you think. It's losing to inflation, it's missing opportunity, it's helping the bank, not you. By becoming your own banker, your dollars can stay liquid, they can grow uninterrupted, and they can be accessible whenever you need them, without sacrificing your future. This isn't some get-rich gimmick. This is a simple life insurance contract full of guarantees. Wealthy people aren't smarter than you, but they do understand where to put their money so it never stops growing for them. This isn't some secret, you guys. It's something that you can take advantage of too, and you can begin to learn about. If this video got you thinking differently about where your emergency fund should live, good. Now it's time to take action and deepen your education. If you're interested in learning more, head down to the description and watch my full overview, walking you through exactly what becoming your own banker is all about. I'll also link it at the end. After that, feel free to book a call and let's chat. I'll answer any questions you might have. I'll show you my policies. I'll help you figure out if this is the right move for you or if it's not. As always, guys, the information is free, but the knowledge is priceless. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.